The effective school correlates. This is like my little effective school correlates house on the prairie. I love visuals because it helps me to see these things. You have a clear focus and you have a clear mission. If you look at the districts around El Paso, you go to the district website, there's a mission, there's a focus. It's right there on their webpage. You walk into the schools. How many of you are parents? Do I have parents in here? You walk into the schools. There's a mission for that school, isn't there? There's a purpose for that school. You walk into an effective teacher's classroom. That effective teacher has a mission and a focus. Boys and girls, my mission and our focus is that every one of you are going to learn. Now, we learn at different levels, but everybody's going to learn. An effective teacher has a clear focus and a clear mission. Effective schools have strong instructional leadership. Now, that doesn't mean that the principal knows everything. Instructional leadership starts with you as teacher. You know how kids learn. If somebody's struggling, you start Googling that and figure out how am I going to help this kiddo learn. That's instructional leadership. You're in workshops on Saturdays because you want the kids in your classroom to succeed. You do what you can for those kids. You go with the social worker to the parent's house to see, okay, why is Johnny struggling? How can I get mom? She won't come to school. Let me go. You always go with somebody else. And there are social workers out there to go with you. How can we help Johnny succeed? So there's that strong instructional leadership. There's the climate of high expectations. I had a parent tell me once, your expectations are too high, Mrs. Schmidt. I said, and I'm not going to lower them. Those kids can do it. If you lower it, they're going to stay there. If you bring it up, they're going to go to the best they can to meet that expectation. You do not want to lower those expectations. As soon as you do, they don't get anything. They do minimum. So high expectation. Positive home relationships. New teachers. And I don't know why you're afraid of parents. That's always on the back burner. Oh, tomorrow I'll call. Tomorrow I'll call. Well, it's May. You haven't called those parents. Don't be afraid of parents. As long as you approach it, how can we work together? Not you as this hierarchy, but what can we do together so we're all on the same page? It's going to be a wonderful relationship. When I was in the classroom, I had parents in my room all the time. Do you know how wonderful that is? Because they could run your centers, they could do this, they could do that, they could do everything for you to help you kind of manage and work with those kiddos that needed the extra help. I had parents. When I was a campus administrator, my parents ran. We used to have, when I was at Mesita as a campus administrator, I got kind of tired of looking at the cafeteria shambles. I mean, it looked like a food fight every lunchtime. So with parent help, and the counselor's help, we started what was called the Golden Spoon Award. And these kids were cleaning and busting their own tables. Put the responsibility on them. And parents were there helping me do this. So you have to involve the parents. Those campuses that you don't see parents, something's wrong. Be wary of that. Because I was a teacher at campuses where it was like, we don't want parents around. Well, what's the secret? Oh, we want them there. We want them supporting. Frequent monitoring of student progress. Frequent monitoring is not benchmark testing. Look at me. Frequent monitoring is not benchmark testing. Frequent monitoring is walking around, making sure kids are getting it. It's that formative assessment. You're forming. What do I need to do next? Where do I need to go with this? Okay? Frequent monitoring. It's not having kids do lots and lots of work and you take it home and it all spends the night in the car because you're too tired to do it. That's not frequent monitoring. It's constantly. You don't have to grade all those papers if you're walking around and checking boys and girls constantly. You know who got it and who didn't. That's frequent monitoring. It's a safe and orderly environment where boys and girls feel safe and secure in your classroom. It's where you can't get rid of them. I did my brown bag seminars, but you know what, the kids would show up at ineffective times. I'm like, your mother didn't want you at home, why are you here? I always use kind of that negative, and it came and grows to my classroom, and it was like, maybe you do this and this and this, you know, and you do more. And then at the end of the day, go away, go home and bother your mother. I'm leaving here at 4, and they would stay till 4. And that's that environment, and they felt safe, they felt secure, they wanted to be there. That's what you want. You wanted to also give the boys and girls an opportunity to learn. Completing a bunch of handouts. Oh, I go in these elementary classrooms, and these kids are handed out into death. Used to be all these. No, you're not giving kids a chance to learn or to think. That's not learning and thinking, completing a bunch of handouts. Or going into those high school classrooms. Okay, boys and girls, do those 20 problems and we'll check them. And the kids go, I wouldn't want to do them either. Answer the questions at the end of the chapter. They don't do that. And you know what happens? Then they get in trouble. Then Julio goes over here to Karina and says, I don't want to do that. Do you want to do that? And so they're busy doing something else. Then Pamela gets tired and gets up here with Fred. And then you have a mess. That's not engaging to boys and girls. Not engaging at all. These are the effective school correlates. These are the things that when you go to interview, these are the things you want to talk about in an interview. These are what campus administrators, their little antennas are off. They're listening, and you walk the talk. These are the things they want to hear. Okay? As we go through our training, we're going to cover a lot of these. Today we're going to spend a lot of time on that safe and orderly environment. But you also know we're going to talk about in the future the parent piece, the frequent monitoring. We're going to connect all of that because this covers it all. This is what you need to know as a teacher. So even though it's old research, it's still current. It's the same thing you need to know. The effective schools correlates. Oops. Now, in a book, What Works in Schools by Marzano. He's big. Marzano's a big researcher. Maybe some of the textbooks that you have had within your college classes of education might come from Marzano. He also has these school levels, a guarantee and viable curriculum. What did we say our curriculum in Texas is? The text. Good job, you remembered. Challenging goals, effective feedback. That's those high expectations, monitoring and feedback. Parent and community support. That constant interaction with the parent. Who can I bring in from the community to help? Safe and orderly environment. Collegiality and professionalism. I picked this slide because that's one piece we're going to talk about ethics-wise. We need to add that piece as an effective teacher. But notice, one research, effective schools, another research, Marzano, they're all saying the same thing. There is no wazzle-dazzle, special little, it's all the same. There's only so much you can do to be an effective teacher and to meet the needs of your students. So almost same thing embedded within.